You are with the big story with us. I'm Seher Zama. The top focus regarding the crisis on the roads in Delhi. Commuters today have been stranded or they're forced to being paid higher fares because over 40 transport unions have gone on strike. They've been demanding a rollback of the hefty traffic fines. However, what's also to be noted as an observation across other cities here as well, the recent numbers here and the violations ever since these steep fines that came into effect in Delhi alone, traffic violations that have reduced by over 80%. The Delhi Traffic Police says motorists are now following the rules. In the state of Karnataka, there has been an increase in driving license registrations. The question that we're asking, are these new fines under the new Motors Vehicle Act keeping India's commuters disciplined? Or is it unfair to play the victim card only because you have been fined for a violation? We're going to throw this open to our panelists in just a bit, but we're also going to get in a pan-India view for you, for our viewers on the big story. First, going across to our correspondent Ayushman with us in Delhi. Today, the crisis is in Delhi here, given the biggest protest that we've seen so far in the form of this strike here. Ayushman, that the demands that they're raising, is it about an absolute rollback of this new act?
Well, sir, right now what we are getting to know from the auto drivers is that it is not there on their own consensus. They have been forced to participate in it because the transport union wanted them to participate. We have talked to drivers who have on record said this, that they've got no options because they have to be in the tandem with what the transport unions say, and that is why they have opted for it. There are several drivers who have said that if they follow rules, there are no challans, but there are many others who say that there is a hefty fee problem, and that is why they are supporting this one-day token strike.
All right, but Ayushman, given that other states have made their stand clear, some of them not wanting to implement them, some of them having slashed it by 50%, there are only a total of 4 states which have implemented this new Motor Vehicles Act in the absolute, as those tariffs have been instructed by the central government. How is this working in Delhi? Because the Delhi government is still dilly-dallying here on this, not wanting to take this move in the build-up to the elections.
Well, sir, if you go through the numbers that have been provided by the Delhi police, you would clearly see that there has been a huge decline in the number of traffic violations which used to take place in the month of August, and now what is happening in September. The number has gone down drastically. But for today, if I can tell you, we have got many passengers, and my cameraman will show you that there are many passengers. We are right now at the outgate of the Delhi railway station. These passengers have come from Bhatinda, and they are not getting anyone who can take them to the desired location. I'll talk to a few of them to know what is the situation. Sir, क्या problem हो रही है यहाँ पे?
ये हम लोग अभी बाहर से आए हैं और हमें मालूम नहीं था यहाँ पर कोई टैक्सी वगैरह की स्ट्राइक चल रही है, तो अभी पता चला है तो कोई टैक्सी वगैरह मिल नहीं रही, कोई व्हीकल नहीं मिल रहा।
सर, जो ऑटो है वो अगर आपको एक तो जाने के लिए तैयार नहीं है, अगर वो जाने को तैयार है तो पैसे कितने मांग रहे हैं?
वो तो मैक्सिमम ही डिमांड कर रहे हैं अभी, क्योंकि जहाँ पर हमने जाना है।
Okay, Ayushman, I'm afraid we'll be able to take just one voice of the commuter, of course, clearly indicative of how this is an absolute crisis for passengers on the road. We're going across to our other colleagues here as well. We have Alok with us, Neha with us from Bengaluru as well. Neha, to you now, this is as far as Bengaluru is concerned. This is the Motor Vehicles Act, which is being implemented in the state across Karnataka with slashed fines here. But it has still worked as a deterrent. It has still worked as a positive measure in asking the commuters to pull up their socks, follow the rules, stop complaining about the fines.
Well, absolutely, that is right. In fact, it seems like, at least in Karnataka, it seems like, the number of traffic violations have really, of course, number of cases booked have actually sort of, gone up from the first week to the second week. And now, in fact, where we are right now is, of course, the Koramangala RTO office, where we've seen a drastic, spurt in the number of people that are actually coming to, register their licenses. Of course, now the fact still remains that, while, of course, it is the luncha that's currently underway, let's actually go over and show you, the number of people people that are actually waiting over here just to, sort of actually get the licenses done is, what we're given to understand. So from the morning as well, of course, the peak hour is anywhere between 10 to 12:30 is what we're given to understand. A lot of people that have actually, been rushing at this point in time to actually just get their driving licenses done, because that right now seems like a better option than having to, cough up a hefty fine. So, of course, also now do remember that with regard to, the number of violations that have gone up, we're talking about, as many as about 5 times. That's what the figures the traffic department have given to us from the first week of the implementation to the second week of the implementation. It seems like, of course, in Karnataka, the first week, there was a little confusion with regard to the implementation. But now that it has been implemented in full swing, we should hopefully be seeing, the number of cases coming down.
All right. This is an important comparative analysis here to be done, because as far as keeping strict vigil here, people then would follow the rules. Our correspondent Alok getting us more details here. Alok, I believe you're at one of the pollution check centers, and it seems that the lines are still long there.
Yes, absolutely, Seher. Let me tell you that there are various aspects of the new Motor Vehicle Act. At one side, there are people who are protesting against the fine, that is increased amount of fine. And there are another side of the new Motor Vehicle Act. There are people started complying with the new act. And in fact, this is the reason there are people you can see on the departments where they have to get their documents to be completed. Right now, I am at one of the pollution check center, and remember the fine of according to the new Motor Vehicle Act is 10,000 rupees. Earlier it was just 1,000. It is 10 times higher. So here you can see the people are lining up and they are standing. They have in fact they are waiting for at least several hours for their numbers. Sir, आप कब से हैं यहाँ पर, कितनी देर से खड़े हो?
भैया कौन से 3-4 घंटे हुए हैं।
3-4 घंटे हो गए। तो इसी तरह की दिक्कत आपको हमेशा आ रही है या अभी शुरू हुई है जब आप पोल्यूशन, क्योंकि पहली बार तो पोल्यूशन बनवा नहीं रहे होंगे?
पहले कभी नहीं था ऐसा, अभी हो रहा है ये सब।
अभी हुआ है।
हाँ।
अच्छा, तो अच्छा आप बताएं, आपको कब से टाइम?
हम तो हर तीसरे महीने होता है हमारा, मगर परेशानी अब आ रही है।
परेशानी अब आ रही है?
हाँ जी।
कारण क्या है परेशानी का?
अब ये जो बाइकें हैं जो, और पहले प्रदूषण होते नहीं थे, अब करा रहे हैं, जब से 2-2 साल से कराई नहीं। प्रदूषण तो सबको ही है। अब जब
ऐसा है, मैं बता रहा हूँ, ये अब जो लोग जो सोए हुए थे वो जाग रहे हैं।
हाँ जी।
रेगुलर करा रहे हैं, उनको भी लाइन में लगना पड़ रहा है।
आप बताएं क्या?
ऐसा है, कारण ये है भीड़ लगने का। जो बंदे सोए पड़े थे वो अब ये प्रशासन ने डंडा चला है तो जाके नहीं, इनको अब याद आ रहा है कि पोल्यूशन भी कराना है। जो रेगुलर कराने वाले थे वो भी लाइन में लग रहे हैं। ये गलती पब्लिक की है, सरकार की नहीं है, हमारी खुद की गलती है ये सबकी। ठीक है, अगर पोल्यूशन अगर हम पहले टाइम पे करा के रखें, कागजों की पहले तैयारी रखें, तो ये लाइन में लगने की जरूरत ही ना पड़े। डंडे के आगे, हिंदुस्तान है ना, डंडे के आगे बिना डंडे के चलते नहीं है।
Okay. On that note, Alok, appreciate you getting us two different voices here on this. I'm going to go across to our guest for this afternoon as well. Let's start with Mr. Abhishek Mishra, spokesperson of the BJP, with us. Mr. Mishra, thank you for being with us. There are different views here on this. Of course, some say that it's a question of implementation. If there is strict vigil here being kept, people would follow the rules. Some saying that this is beyond. This is making drivers go bankrupt. Should the central government at least revisit the tariff hikes? If there is an implementation of the rules only with respect to authorities keeping vigil, should the fines then be slashed and not remain as expensive then?
See, as many of the reporters themselves said it, since the new amended Motor Vehicle Act has come, people's compliance of the laws of the land, of the vehicle laws has increased. Now, you see people, the man himself said, who was on your show just now, that people have come and started making, all the new licenses, the pollution licenses, which they were not doing. You understand, I said in the earlier debate also on your channel, that Nitin Gadkari ji clearly said that, we have maximum deaths happening on Indian roads in the whole world. We have 1.5 lakh deaths occurring every year. So, Gadkari ji said this is not a revenue generation scheme. It is not to get more fines to fill the government coffers. It is to make people respect the law and fear the law. And that has clearly, has already occurred. People, 80% more people are, getting pollution licenses, getting all the documents in place, and and now as the Delhi traffic police has clearly said, that people breaking law has come down. The challans are increasing and people are now respecting the law. So I think it's a welcome move, and the government's intention was to save lives. And definitely now when people will follow traffic laws, when
That's
people
right.
will have all documents, I think lives will be saved, which is our
But
priority.
Abhishek, this is a point to be taken here, given that out of all the states, there are only a total of 4 states who have implemented the Motor Vehicles Act as per the tariff of fines put out by the central government. The rest of them have slashed it close to 50% here, saying it's too expensive. So if it's just a question of authorities keeping vigil on the road, authorities doing their job of checking motorists and drivers, should there then be a rollback of fines? Is it just about hiked fines which are working as a deterrent, or is it also about authorities having woken up as well? There was the old Motor Vehicles Act as well, but the authorities weren't stopping drivers and checking them.
See, I'll give you a small context here. Maximum deaths were occurring of our younger generation from the age of 18 to 35, and definitely a steep fine is a deterrent for them because they have just started in the career. So you see, it's a combination. It's a combination of laws that the policing has to increase. The people must respect the law. The fines, as the central government has currently decided, the fines are required as a deterrent. But yes, every state government, as Gadkari ji said, state governments have equal responsibility of saving lives. But every state government can choose on its own will, depending on their local factors, to reduce the fines. But the central government, to save lives, to improve the safety on roads, which we all have seen, that that sometimes what problems can occur. To improve that, this harsh measure, this is a harsh step taken to save lives of our citizens. The steep fines are there to make people fear and respect the law. So you have to understand the larger context. 1.5 lakh lives, is not a small thing. How many families have been destroyed? To save those families, to that the loved ones come back home in the evening, these laws are required. These measures are required, and I think it's working. Best thing is that violation decreased by 79% in Delhi itself. So it's working. People are respecting the law. People are having documents, and people are driving in a safe manner. Our lives have been saved. I think that is the main focus which you should tell the viewers.
I'm going to be getting. We got your point there, Abhishek. I'm going to be getting in more voices here on this as well. Let's also go back to our correspondents here, getting us a pan-India view. Ayushman, who's there with the commuters. This is, of course, with respect to the strike now. Massive strike that has been called in by 40 transport unions across Delhi.